Hello to everyone out there. It's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And in case you are unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition science, um, and a little bit about technology. So I earned my degree in exercise and sports science and nutrition in 2003 from the University of Delaware. And then I did a couple of years of graduate school at Teachers College, Columbia University, and graduate program in applied physiology and nutrition. But before I got into that, I was a biotechnology major, and it was my goal or my desire to become a scientist, a research scientist, and study study cures for genetic diseases. So that was originally my interest. So as I got into exercise and sports science and nutrition science, that interest in genetic diseases, infectious diseases, and just how the body works did not go away. Okay, and as it pertains to disease, exercise and nutrition does play a role as well. With that being said, that's just a little bit about my background. So I hope you all doing well during this pandemic. For me, I've been doing a lot of research. Like, I'm already a huge researcher to begin with, okay? I'm always reading health science research constantly. I'm a nerd when it comes to that. And so, with the COVID virus, from the very beginning, I wanted to understand, okay, what is the science of this virus? Like, I was like thinking to myself, is it a lipid-contained virus? Because I've been studying different ways, different things that kill lipid-contained viruses since 2003 or 4. Okay, so I was wondering, is it a lipid-contained virus? And I'm wondering different things about the properties of the virus. And so that was the first thing I started to do. And I have a friend who is a MD PhD. He's an infectious disease doctor, and he's been researching coronaviruses for the last 8 years. And he is one of the lead scientists working on a vaccine, right? Um, Now, I'm not necessarily pro-vaccine, but that's a whole other discussion. I'm gonna do a whole other video about that because there's pros and cons. I personally am not one that is necessarily pro-vaccine, but there's a whole conversation around that. But regardless of that, you know, um, my friend who's doing that research and working on it, I had the ability to speak to him and ask him questions about the virus. And the thing is that any new like bacteria or viral species that comes out, it takes a while for scientists to research it to really understand all the things about this virus. So in the beginning, when they were telling us, oh, it's just like the cold or a flu, and people thought it's just like the cold or a flu, it's not just like the cold or the flu. If you listen to the doctors, okay, who are treating people with COVID, they'll tell you constantly this is not like the flu at all. It's very different in a lot of ways. And also, oh God, I lost my train of thought. I have so many things I want to say. Oh, so I remember hearing that the virus can linger in the air for like 3 hours. Because I remember back when San Francisco first put the city on lockdown, and the news was showing people in San Francisco outside jogging or riding their bikes. And I remember thinking to myself, they seem too close and they're breathing in each other's air, okay? This is something that I think about even before COVID, I would think about this, right? Because you have people jogging and breathing. Like in New York, I used to get grossed out with people jogging down the street. It's like, you over here blowing your hot breath, huffing and puffing on the sidewalk. I don't want to breathe your hot, funky air. And somebody's walking in front of you. If you're walking down the street and somebody's walking in front of you, smoking a cigarette, doesn't all that cigarette air blow into your face? So if somebody coughs or sneezes, that air is still gonna, you know what I'm saying? So I was already thinking that. And then having a background in exercise physiology, I think about that because when when you're exercising, you start taking in bigger gulps of air. So when you're around toxic air, the last thing you want to do is be breathing deep. And that's what you're going to do when you're outside exercising. I made a whole video about that a couple days ago called Exercising Through COVID, where I talked about these things. So check it out. But and I remember speaking to my friend about this, and he told me, yeah, there was one study that said that, but then, they need to do more studies because it was in a laboratory. And now I'm seeing more and more stuff about this, right? And I believe that it does linger in the air. And it's also, and this is even why, like, people are like, how did it get, now it's in the Amazon. It's like getting to indigenous groups who are basically super isolated. And people can ask, how did it get out there? Everybody thinks it's a conspiracy. No, viruses and bacteria can travel. And this virus is a very strong and efficient virus anyway. But the shit can travel with the wind, trust me, okay? And so the thing is that another thing about it, because I've been really studying the mechanisms of action, like the pathophysiology and mechanisms of action with the virus, right? How it works and what is the actual mechanism, all the biochemical pathways, and the thing is, because this is when people develop drugs, this is what they do, right? They'll say, okay, this virus binds to this receptor and it needs these enzymes to then get in the cell, and then it uses these things to then replicate its DNA or RNA, then it uses these enzymes, so it's like there's a whole biomechanical steps. So people who develop drugs, they try to develop a drug that blocks this enzyme, or they develop a drug to stop the virus from doing this. But there are things in nature that do that as well, okay? There are things in nature that do that as well that also have been scientifically proven, okay? And the mechanisms of action can be explained behind how it works, like something like echinacea, for example, or garlic, for example, or olive leaf extract, for example, okay? So I'm saying all this to say that, yes, I've been really researching and keeping up with stuff. Now, one thing that has not been talked about a lot is the fact that it really can affect your gastrointestinal tract. The coronavirus, it binds to ACE2 receptors, right? And we have those receptors all over our lungs. They are on the kidneys and the gastrointestinal tract. And I'm still doing research. I'm going to do a more detailed video on this soon. Because I wonder if they're in the reproductive tract. I'm not sure, but I have some feelings about that, especially because the gastrointestinal tract, the gastrointestinal system is very much connected to the reproductive system. Okay, what affects our digestive system affects our reproductive system. So I'm going to do more research into that, right? But right now I'm saying what I know now, and there's more to come. So we definitely have these receptors in our intestines, and when the coronavirus also has said to be, it spreads via fecal matter, and I also said this and knew this in the very beginning, which can be an issue in buildings with bad plumbing. Okay, in buildings with bad plumbing, it can spread through a building that way. So people who live in unsanitary conditions. Is super dangerous because it does radiate from fecal matter as well, okay? So, and it's in the intestines. It has a affinity for the intestines. So there are a lot of people with COVID who are having bad stomach aches, diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, loss of appetite, okay? These are all symptoms as well. And it has been said that a lot of people who have those symptoms who then get worse symptoms, it takes like a lot longer, and they don't know why. And my hypothesis is that it probably takes time to get from the gastrointestinal up into the lungs. But some people might not get it may not get to their lungs, and this is what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about COVID in the gastrointestinal tract and sex as well, okay, as it pertains to sex as well. Because you have to think, if you're having sex, okay, the virus gets in through your mucous membranes, okay? That's your eyes and your mouth. That's also your vagina, your anus, okay? Those are all mucous membranes, right? So it can get in that way too. So even if you're with your spouse, even if it's just you and your spouse that you've been with forever, can you get it from your spouse? Yes, And the virus is definitely the virus is definitely super infectious, okay? So I have some tips about that, okay? So first of all, I want to say make sure you check out my other videos that I did about what to do if you have COVID symptoms, five ways to strengthen your immune system, and I have other immune system strengthening videos and videos about the importance of probiotics. Make sure you check those videos as well so that you can get the full spectrum, some background on some things I'm going to say. I also have videos too about penile and vaginal health, maintaining your penile and vaginal health. And those videos too will be helpful. So I'll post them all below on my YouTube video. So, okay. Number one, okay, you want to make sure that you have a good amount of probiotics. You know, eat lots of fermented foods, which can include lacto-fermented fruits and vegetables, especially the liquid in it, okay? So that's like real sauerkraut, kimchi, Mexican cortado, I think Haitian pickles, that is fermented, has a lot of bacteria. You can get a good quality kombucha, raw dairy, especially kefir and yogurts. And, you know, you want to get fermented foods in your diet. You also want to make sure you're taking a good amount of probiotics, if you can. Some people may not have the money or ability, but if you can take a high dosage of probiotics, like 1 to 200 billion a day, depending on other factors, but at the minimum, I would say. And I recommend Garden of Life probiotics. I have videos where I talk about that too. So that's number one, okay? Because most of your immune system is in your gut. Like 70-80% of your immune system is in your gut. And why is it in your gut? It has to do with the bacteria in your gut and the imbalance and the balance of bacteria. We have trillions of bacterial cells in our gut. We have more bacteria cells in our gut than we do cells of our body cells, okay? So they play a huge role with our gut, and good bacteria is our first line of defense against all infectious disease. That's the good bacteria on our skin. That's the good bacteria in your gut. That's the good bacteria in your vaginal canal, in your throat. Okay, so maintaining your microbiome is really important. This is something I talk about a lot. And again, check out the videos on that. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. That's number one, okay? Also, I would say that daily, and this is in general, even I'm starting light. So this is in general too, even if you're not what am I trying to say? No, let me just keep talking. So my brain's in so many places. Okay. Number two, I would say drink tea every day. Hot tea, green tea, especially if you can mix green tea and echinacea. If you want to drink thyme tea or oregano tea. I personally cannot drink thyme or oregano tea because it's just too to me. But if you can stomach drinking thyme tea or oregano tea, I would say do that as well. You can even combine it with green tea because things work synergistically really well. And echinacea is something I highly recommend as well, echinacea tea. So combining them, some olive leaf extract, okay? Put it in your water, put it in your tea. If you could do that daily, I would highly recommend that. So then you're connecting with your partner. Okay, so for the woman, right? Some of you may have seen my videos about vaginal steaming, or you may know about vaginal steaming, but I highly recommend vaginal steaming during this time for a couple of reasons, okay? And if you don't know what vaginal steaming is, it's when, you know, women take a pot of hot water, you boil some water, you throw some herbs in it, depending on what you're doing it for. So in this case, you know, I would say garlic, ginger, oregano, thyme, eucalyptus, things like that, I would say to put in your steam. Because, and why is that? Well, garlic is super antimicrobial. Garlic really kills viruses and bacteria. And there's so many scientific studies to support that for people who might think that that's like hocus pocus. No, this is a fact. Ginger helps to increase the circulation, okay, of blood. And ginger has an affinity for the gastrointestinal tract, and it's really good for the intestines and the gastrointestinal tract. It's also antimicrobial, but it helps to increase the circulation of blood, which we want. So that can help even get the medicines deeper in our body and around our bodies, right? Then the oregano and thyme. Woo, Sorry, my speaker went off. It scared me. Um, the oregano and thyme is very antimicrobial as well, like very antiviral and antibacterial. But oregano oil is especially good for killing viruses in respiratory tract infections as well. Okay, oregano oil. So putting fresh oregano and thyme in there, I would recommend as well. And so with the vaginal steam, you throw the herbs in the pot in the hot water, turn the water off, let it steep covered for about 5 minutes, right? Then you take, the woman wants to have nothing on, bottomless. You take the pot, you can put it on the floor, and you open the pot, let the hot water, let the first rush of hot air blow out so you don't burn yourself. Then you squat over the pot, right, with nothing on, and you cover your whole bottom half with a big sheet. And then you squat over it for about, for about 20, 30 minutes or until the steam runs out, and you let the steam go up into your vaginal canal. And this is good because it delivers the volatile oils from the herbs. It gets it deep into your reproductive system and can help get it into, up into here. So you're drinking the tea and you're doing the steam to get into the intestines, to really get into the intestines, the womb, and the reproductive tract. Because again, the vaginal canal, anal canal, those are mucous membranes, okay? So the virus can't enter the body that way. So doing steams where you are, using antimicrobial herbs. Okay, I'm gonna answer that question in a second. Where you're using antimicrobial herbs is gonna be really helpful. So I'm gonna answer your question real quick. So I was just asked, where do I get my herbs? Okay, so it depends on where I am, right? Right now I'm in Chicago. I haven't found an herb shop in Chicago. I've only seen Chinese herbal shops in Chicago that only sell Chinese herbs, and you have to be like a Chinese herb practitioner. So if you are in Chicago and you know a good herb shop, please tell me, because I've been looking for it since 2016 before I moved to the city. So what I do is in Chicago, I will order my herbs from different places, but I'll tell you a few places that I get my herbs. So in New York, there are a couple of places on the Lower East Side. There's some places in Brooklyn too. I've never actually gone to any of the ones in Brooklyn, but I've seen ones online in Brooklyn that look really good. So there are herb shops in Brooklyn. But on the Lower East Side, there's Smile Herb Shop and another one, and they're like right by each other. I've gone there before, but where I've gone mostly, and they also take online orders. Where I've gone, oh, you're in Cali, okay. Where I've gone mostly has been, there's a place in Maryland, and I think College Park, Maryland, called, why am I forgetting the name of it? Hold on a minute, I'm gonna look on the computer because I want to tell you. Because this place I go to in Maryland, I think it's in Silver Spring. Either Silver Spring or College Park. No, Silver Spring, I think. Hold on a minute. Let me see something. Hold on. I think it's called, oh yeah. I want to tell you this place because I order, okay, wait. It's actually called Smile. Okay, so Smile Herb Shop is in Maryland. Is that, yeah, it's in College Park, Maryland. Okay, so the thing about Smile Herb Shop is that they ship. So I just ordered a bunch of herbs from them, and they're like one of my favorite herb shops I've been to. And they do ship, and I just ordered a bunch of herbs from them, and I'm actually going to be making different mixtures of steams that can be used for respiratory and vaginal to sell. But you can definitely, there are herbs, California, there should be tons of herb shops. I don't know where in California you are, but I know in the Bay Area, I've never gone to an herb shop in Southern California. I'm sure they have them. But I have gone to ones in San Francisco before, and I just don't remember the names of them. But I know that San Francisco and the Bay Area had a lot of good ones. And most herb shops right now are shipping. But Smile Herb Shop in College Park, Maryland is a place I definitely recommend. And they just ship me some herbs pretty quickly. And so, Golden Seal is another one. You can... Oh, Mountain Rose herbs. Okay, yeah, Mountain Rose herbs are good as well. There are a few good places to get herbs. And then there's also places in New Orleans. Like when I would go to New Orleans, there were a couple of herb shops I would go to. So I would get my herbs different places depending on where I was. Um, but yes, Golden Seal is another one that has extremely potent antiviral properties. So you could even make a tea with Golden Seal Echinacea green tea, right? You could make a tea with oregano and thyme, green tea, ginger, all those things. I say that you should be drinking teas every day, once or twice a day, with a few of those ingredients, right? During the vaginal steams, especially if you're having sex with your partner, like there's people who may not be having sex right now, but there are people who may be with their partner and you're having sex with them or whoever. Like, you should be steaming right now for that reason, just to add the added benefit. And also, even if you're not, it's still not bad to steam because, look, another thing, even separate from sex, if it's on your hands, right, and you wipe yourself, okay, you could wipe yourself and it's on your hands and you don't know it, because there are people going to the bathroom, washing their hands first, then not touching anything, and then going to the bathroom, and then and then wipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people wash their hands after they use the bathroom. I'm just saying, like, it could be on your hand, and if you end up touching your mucous membranes in your lower extremities, it could get into your body. So it's good to just consume things that are antiviral and antimicrobial orally to get into your gastrointestinal tract through this ingestion, but also the steam to help prevent and protect your mucous membranes, and that also affects your gastrointestinal tract. So you got to go in two ways, right? And for the men can't do steams, but men can do sitz baths, where you take the same herbs that I said, put it in some warm water that it shouldn't be so warm and hot that it burns you, but it should be warm enough where you can feel the circulation of blood and feel the heat. So you like sit in like a shallow bath where you're bottomless and your butt and your scrotum and stuff is soaking in it. You can soak your penis, the tip of your penis, in some type of herbal soap like that, or a sitz bath. And I have the peanut oil that I make and was selling, which is a mixture of like oregano and garlic and olive oil and coconut oil, castor oil, because that also helps get the medicinal properties into your skin and into your body. Because remember, we absorb things through our skin very efficiently. You can also make that yourself. You can take olive oil, you can infuse it with rosemary, or let's say oregano and thyme and garlic. You can combine it with some castor oil, because castor oil will help it get deeper in. Coconut oil, because coconut oil is super antiviral, microbial, and you can massage that onto your penis or wherever you want, because it's super antimicrobial. Then what is it? Olive oil, coconut oil. If you look at soaps, what are soaps made out of? Soaps are made out of oils. They're made out of palm oils, coconut oils. Soaps are all made out of oils. Surfactant oils, okay? And so, and it's important too to moisturize after you keep washing and drying, because water dries everything out. So using an antibacterial, very potent antibacterial oil to rub on your hands to moisturize is also very good. And even before COVID, it was important, if somebody was going to put fingers inside of somebody, that you wash your hands first. But now it's even more critical. Then when it comes to sex, I would say, having aloe, okay? Like if you have an aloe plant, aloe is good, period, for everybody to have. But I would say if you had an aloe plant, rub aloe. A woman, you can rub the aloe on your man's phallus. He can rub aloe on, your vulva, okay? Because aloe is super antimicrobial, antiviral, okay? And this is proven by many scientific studies. So you can, use that. And before penetration, or he can put it on your partner, or I don't want to say he, it could be he, she, whatever, puts it on their fingers before they put it inside of you, okay? So not only it's better than like using hand sanitizer, because hand sanitizer and all that stuff is full of chemicals. We don't want to put toxic chemicals in our vagina. We don't want to put toxic chemicals on our hands. Plus, that also destroys our microbiome on our skin, which we don't want to do. Okay, so you want to use natural things. They're going to feed the good bacteria and kill the infectious causing organisms, viruses, and bacteria. Okay. Um, Another thing, and these are things that just go anyway with vaginal health type stuff, where apple cider vinegar, like taking diluted apple cider vinegar and squirting that, putting it in a syringe and squirting it in your vaginal canal. These are all things that are very useful for killing microbes. Okay, and so you really want to make sure that we put the thought into that as well. I also don't think that this is a great time for anal sex, but I personally am not into that. No judgment to anybody, but I think that probably is especially not a good idea right now. Okay, because the vaginal canal is already has so many mechanisms about it that is geared towards protecting against foreign objects, because the vagina is made to be penetrated, and you have semen and all these things. So the vaginal canal has all these mechanisms, and it secretes mucus. Despite what people think, listening to Sebi, that mucus causes disease. No, mucus is actually a part of your immune system, and if you have a good diet, mucus actually helps to keep you healthy. And mucus helps to kill viruses and bacteria and get it out of your system. So a woman's vaginal mucus also does the same if she's healthy. Okay, if a woman has maintained her vaginal flora, her pH, certain things like that, then and her nutrition status is good, then the mucus that our vagina is naturally producing when you get aroused actually has antimicrobial properties, and these are scientific facts. Okay. So yes, so remember, taking the probiotics, drinking the teas, doing steams, using aloe vera. Okay. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Every time I do a video, when I'm done, I'm like, damn, I forgot to say this, this, and this. It happens all the time. So I'm just trying to make sure I said everything before I end this video. I think I did. Just be careful, people. This is time that we have to take care of ourselves. Like, we should already have been taking care of ourselves before this, but now it's not even a joke, because I mean, yes, a lot of people are not dying from coronavirus, but a lot of people are getting extremely ill. And some people, they're not right afterwards, okay? Like, there's permanent body damage done. And a lot of times you don't know what is going to be for you unless you get it, right? So that's why, and we all very likely will become exposed to it, So that's why we have to be proactive about taking care of ourselves at this time and always, because you never know when you could be exposed to infectious disease. But when we know there's an outbreak of something that is as infectious as the coronavirus is, because it is very infectious, then we have to take extra precautions. So I just want people to remember that your mucous membranes are also in your vaginal canal, anal canal. That is how the virus gets in the body. So you want to take extra precautions with that. It's also probably not a bad idea to rub antimicrobial oils in the vaginal canal too, as well. But definitely, if you're doing things sexual, incorporate that, okay, into your sexual play, okay? And be safe, be healthy. If you learned something from this video, please like it and share it and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on YouTube at The Body Scientist 81 and on IG at _body_scientist. And for the people on IG, because I'm live on IG right now, this is being reposted on my YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81, so you can find the video there. Okay, people, make sure you check out my other videos and have a good day. Bye.